Good evening, unique couples community. How is everyone doing this evening? Welcome to Unique Couples Sunday Night Live. I am Vito Patrick, one half of Vito and Linda Patrick of Unique Couples, and I would like to welcome you. Go ahead and hashtag Live Squad for those of you that are watching. For those of you that'll be watching the replay, go ahead and type in hashtag replay. If you haven't subscribed to the Unique Couples YouTube channel, you want to go ahead and subscribe to the Unique Couples YouTube channel, and you want to make sure turn on that notification bell and select all. Yes, select all so you can be notified every time we go live here at Unique Couples. It's my privilege being here with you once again on a Sunday evening. And last week, Sunday, we would have started out the month of June, and we are featuring men all this month in the month of June. We are dubbing June as Men's Month. So we had a great time last week, Sunday, and tonight, there is no exception. We will be having another great time tonight as we will be talking on the topic top 3 lessons for new dads. Yes, top 3 lessons for new dads. So you want to go ahead and share, you want to go ahead and tell a friend, tell a family member to tune in. For you ladies that are tuning in, you want to make sure turn the volume up so those new dads they can hear this conversation. So you want to make sure you go ahead and turn it up so they can hear this conversation. Nudge your husbands so they can hear this conversation. Because if you're a new dad or you are not a new dad, you still want to hear the conversation. And you also want to tell others about this conversation as well. So go ahead and let others know that Unique Couple Sunday Night Live is on, and we are going to be in for a great time as we are talking on the topic top 3 lessons for new dads. Top 3 lessons for new dads. Our children are as different as the moon and sun. Their birth date and timing, likes and dislikes, personalities and preferences are all different as well. And they don't come with a manual. So there is no playbook, there is no manual, fathers, when it comes to raising your child, when it comes to what you need to do as it relates to raising your child. There's no playbook, there is no manual. Men, you know how it is. We can try to fix our cars and other machines and objects without looking at that user's manual. But at least we have it when we encounter problems. However, with children, they don't come with a manual. So there is no how to do this or how to do that manual when it comes to your kids. So you don't have a manual when it comes to your kids. So you want to make sure that you are tuning into this conversation as we go over the top 3 lessons for new dads. And there are more than 3 lessons for new dads, but these are the top 3 lessons for new dads. And if there are any additional lessons that we would need to speak on at another time, you can go ahead and put that in the chat. Go ahead and put that in the chat. So, lesson number 1, what we want to talk about as it relates to top 3 lessons for new dads. So, lesson number 1 is love your children unconditionally just as they are. So that is lesson number 1. Love your children unconditionally just as they are. Sometimes we look at our children and think we can only love them when they have accomplished great things or have met our expectations. But we need to move away from that. Yes, that's important. that we move away from that. We don't just need to recognize them when they meet these great feats or all these great accomplishments. You want to always recognize your children. You always want to recognize your kids. That is very, very important. So all of the accomplishments that they will achieve, and even when they don't meet these achievements or accomplishments, you still want to recognize them. That is very important. We need to accept and love our children as they are and not for who we imagine them to be. So we may be thinking we want our kids to be like this one or that one. Well, it doesn't work that way. No two children are the same. We know here at Unique Couples, every couple is different in their own way. No two couples are the same, and the same goes for kids as well. No two kids are going to be the same. So we need to accept and love our children as they are and not for who we imagine them to be. This also will help them to accept who they are, love themselves, and live to trust their potential. So, number one is you want to love your children unconditionally, just as they are. And it's very important that you show your kids love. You want to show them love. That's very important. That will help them in life as they are growing up each day. And once you show them that, once you teach them those principles, it will be with them for the rest of their lives. So you want to make sure you show them love. That unconditional love, that is very, very important. So you want to make sure, number one, love your children unconditionally, just as they are. So that was number one. Number two, number two, don't compare your children. Yes, don't compare your children. This here is another big one as well. I may have started to talk about it in number one, but number two is don't compare your children. Yes, you don't want to compare your children to other kids. You don't want to do that. So don't compare your children to each other or other people. Comparison does not improve people, it devalues them. So when you compare your children, you deny them their value. This is a big lesson that I learned raising our three children. All of them are different. So you don't want to compare them in no way. Linda and I, we have two girls and a son, and the three of them, they are different in their own way. And the ages are 16, 15, and 6. And trust you me, the three of them are different. When the first two were growing up, it's totally different than the 6 year old right now. So we cannot compare what was happening like when I was a child. I cannot compare that to what my kids are going through now or even what our 6 year old is going through. So you don't want to compare. You don't want to do that. This will help them to accept who they are, love themselves, and live to their truest potential. Also, they are each different, and that is okay. I don't compare because I want each of them to be unique. Like I said, there are no two couples that are the same. All couples are unique in their own way. Yes, all couples are unique in their own way. So not a copy of each other, but originally them. So, like I said, don't compare. You want each of them to be unique, not a copy of each other, but originally them. So for the men, for all the men who are parenting with their wives, you need to listen closely, because sometimes when parenting, we neglect our spouses, and we don't want to do that. We don't want to neglect our spouses. We want to make sure that we are there to support our spouses, we are there to help our spouses, and parenting can be a task within itself. It can be like almost another job, but it's very important you don't neglect your spouse. We know that it takes a village to raise a child, and you want to ensure that you aren't neglecting your spouse. You want to make sure you have those date nights. Those date nights are important. Like I said, there it's a lot when it comes to raising children, but at the same time, you still want to go ahead and make sure you go on those date nights, you and your spouse, you find that time to be together with one another. You have to get creative, you have to be intentional. That's very important. Being intentional as it relates to not neglecting your spouse, spending some of that QT, I call it, that quality time with your spouse. That is very, very important. Spending that quality time with your spouse. So, couples, do you need to connect, communicate, and collaborate to increase intimacy and excitement in your relationship? Well, you want to go ahead and you want to join the 21-day challenge. Yes, you want to go ahead and join up for the Unique Couples 21-day couples connection challenge. Yes, so join the 21-day couples connection challenge designed to get you and your partner closer using activities that promote intimacy, insight, and intentionality during the course of the 21 days. So you want to register. The link is in the chat. So you want to go ahead and register. The link is also in the description as well. So make sure you go ahead and you register for the Unique Couples 21-day Couples Connection Challenge. You want to do that? Make sure you and your spouse do it together so you can grow together. Yes, that there is very, very important. So that was number two. Number two was don't compare your children. So number three is be a man of your word. Yes, be a man of your word. That there is very, very important. Be a man of your word. If you say you are going to do something, then you have to do it. So that's important as it relates to being a man of your word. If you say you're going to do something, you have to do it. You don't want to go back on your word. There are a lot of different things when it comes to being a man of your word. We can look at accountability, we can look at integrity. All of those things are important as it relates to being a man of your word. You want to keep your word. If you make a promise, you want to keep a promise. That is very important. And we all know when we are dating our spouses, we make promises to our spouses, and the same is when it comes to kids. So this here is one of the top three lessons for new dads. If you're gonna make promises to your kids, you have to keep those promises. If you say that you are going to take them to the park, you're going to take them to get ice cream, you want to make sure you do those things. That's very, very important. Whatever you say you're going to do, make sure you do it, because the kids, they would have a better memory than you probably would have. So you want to make sure you go ahead, and if you make a promise, you want to keep a promise. You also want to have honor. Yes, have honor as it relates to being a man of your word. If you say you're going to do something, then do it. Also, be responsible as it relates to that, and have integrity. All of those are important as it relates to being a man of your word. And your word is your bond. If you say you're going to do something, it is very important that you go ahead and you do that. Don't make excuses. You don't want to do that. You don't want to make excuses. If you make excuses, then you are not being a man of your word. So that there was the top 3 lessons for new dads. Number 1 was love your children unconditionally, just as they are. Number 2 was don't compare your children. Number 3 was be a man of your word. So they were the top 3 lessons for new dads. Like I said, there are a lot more lessons for new dads. Go ahead and put those lessons in the chat. We can talk about them another time on Unique Couple Sunday Night Live. Go ahead and let us know what are some of your takeaways. What are some of your takeaways? Go ahead, put them in the chat, and let us know what are some of your takeaways. So I had fun sharing with you here this evening on Unique Couples Sunday Night Live, top 3 lessons for new dads. I also want to take this time out to go ahead and thank our sponsors for making this program possible this evening. We want to thank Party with Serenity. Also want to thank Hair to Please as well. I also want to thank Style Me Pretty by Shadra. We also have Cornerstone Insurance Agents for all of your insurance needs. You want to contact Cornerstone Insurance Agents. Also, we want to thank Build Your Best Life with Deborah D. Smith as well. And then we have Total Great Solutions with Thad and Amanda Randolph. So we want to thank them as well. And then we have the Nail Lab Creation by Anna. So we want to thank all of our sponsors for making this program possible this evening. So I had fun sharing with you here this evening on Unique Couples Sunday Night Live. Here at Unique Couples, we are building stronger couples, healthier marriages, and happier families. Love you guys. Have a great rest of the evening and have a great week coming up. And make sure you tune right back in here next week, Sunday, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, for another Unique Couples Sunday Night Live. Love you guys. Have a great evening. Bye.